All right, good morning and welcome to day one of a new game. I think we're going to call it something like Gem Wars. What we're going to be doing today is we're first going to be creating the basic assets for the game. Then we're going to create the new Unity project, make the GitHub repository. We're going to open up a identity server for the application and create a custom Google Authenticator. This app should be going up on Google and potentially Steam as well as iOS. And then we'll be scaffolding out the basic game pieces and game board. So let's go ahead and get jumping in. So let's make another gem here. One of the things about the way that these are set up is everything is done using, how do I do this? Is done using, everything is done using geometric shapes for these. I have different layers of opacity to get this kind of an effect here. This here is an effect that a lot of the 2D graphics have. And then if you look over at the other two that we've already created, this one, fairly simple. It's a square with these, with the subdivisions. It was a square initially. I cut it into 4 pieces. I shaded each of them. I added a highlight here. A highlight's kind of fun. It's a blending mode that looks like, well, there's a highlight on this. It looks like everything's grouped together right now. But we'll go through this and we'll actually create one brand new. So first thing I need to do is I need to make an artboard. So we'll use my artboard tool, which the shortcut is Shift-O. And we can just make it a circle here. And I'm going for an even 600 pixels and 300 and 920 or something like that. Well, we can just leave it right there. And then I can move it to get it centered, and we're good to go. Okay, so for this gem, just one second. What we're going to be creating for this gem is a sapphire. And so this is pretty straightforward. So we're going to use the polygon tool over here, and I'm going to create a new polygon right here in the middle. And I want it to have 8 sides, and we'll just say that it starts with about 130 points. Okay. Let's go ahead and increase the size of this. And then I'm going to do a rotation here, 45 degrees, so that I get a on top. So let's do this direction, and we could probably just do this as a, where's my rotation tool? Don't I have a tool that'll just rotate to a number of degrees? Oh no, that's for the other thing. So, okay. So we'll just rotate this manually here. Something like that. Okay. In this, we don't need to have a fill at the moment. We'll add one in just a little bit. Well, we'll leave it like that for now, just so that I can see it, okay? And now the next thing, actually, if I was to go back here, I think I can use the rotate tool to rotate this by 45 degrees. Okay, so that's what we'll do in just a second. Let's go back and do this manually. So like this. Why isn't it letting me rotate? It's moving this point. There we go. And now I can give it a rotation here, like that. Okay. So let's move this up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start creating some line segments in it. So for that, I first want to use the line segment tool, and we're going to cut it down right here like that. And let's just give that a stroke so I can see it. And then what I want to do is I want to rotate this item using that tool that we just saw. And I'm going to do a 45 degrees and copy it. Now I can move this into the correct position, and we can do it again. And this one's going to be at 90 degrees. And then we're going to do it one more time again. Sorry, rotate tool. Oh, I didn't do a copy on that last one, sorry. So let's do this again. We want to do it at 90, and we want to do a copy of it. Okay, we'll move this up. And then we're going to do another one of these line segments. The short key for this is slash, or we can use the rotate tool. And we can make one more off of this one. And we're going to do this at, isn't it 135? 45 plus that is 135. Okay, now that we have that done, the next thing that we want to do is, I think we want to do a divide. So we'll select everything and go to my object path, object, where is divide? It's in Pathfinder down here. And we'll divide that into individual sections. Okay. Looks like I didn't make a new group for this object, so we'll bring this one in. Okay. And now here's the group of the individual paths. And so now what we can do is we can start to create a palette for this. So the palette I'm going to create is in my swatches here. And I'll make a new folder for it, and I'm going to call this one a sapphire. How do you spell it? S-A-P-P-H-I-R-E. And now we're going to start adding in colors here. So the first color is going to be red 26, green 147, and blue 232. And then we'll just save that here as a swatch. Okay, the next one is going to be, and I've already looked at these values before, that's just why I already have them written down, 68, 191, and 252. And we'll drag that one down. The next color is going to be 125, 224, and 253. We'll bring that one in. The next one is 35, 164, and 232. We'll bring that one in. The next one is 20, 124, and 232. Only a couple more. We have a 44, 168, and a 239. Two more. We have a 72, a 197, and a 245. And the last swatch that we need is a 189, 239, 254. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to go around this one by one, and we will select that's interesting. That's also interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay. So we want to start over here on this piece. And we'll make it blue. And then we're just going to go around the circle. Next blue. And then our third one, which is this one. 3. This one's 4. This one here is 5. This one here is 6. And then we've got this one, which is 7. And this last one, which is 8. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to put a smaller octagon and put that right here in the middle again. So I'll make another tool, or my shape tool, and we want to make a polygon right here in the middle. Looks like I messed up the middle, but that's okay. It's not going to matter. And we'll make this one 100. And now we can resize it to fit and rotate it to match. We'll move it into the center. Something like that. Okay. Let's add our final gradient to it. Let me go ahead and save this in the new format. Because it just updated this morning. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add a gradient to this. And I want this gradient to be at a, right here, my angle, I want it to be at like -45 or so. Maybe a little bit more. -60. Yeah, I like that. And then our fills, on the light side, I want it to be a 182, 238, 255. And on the darker side, how about something like 38, 183, and a 255. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to add some of these sparkly thingies just for fun, which is here. I can put these wherever I want. So maybe one like there, and we'll put these all on the rim. And again, these are going to be animated in the game. Hey there, Queeky. How are you doing? How are you doing this morning? Welcome. Okay, let's go ahead and resize this whole object down. And now what I want to do is I want to put a circle around it. And again, we're going to change these things out. And the colors that we're going to choose for this one are a gradient, which is going to be at -90. And we want to go from 255, 132, 0. And we're going to go to 255, 243, 88. Let me go ahead and rotate that the other direction. And the last thing that we want to do, let's go ahead and change this and group all of these things together. And change this size. Sorry, I didn't have them all selected. We want to group these. Change the size here. Like that. And now what I want to do is I want to apply the... What's the live for? Oh, that means hello. That's me. Sorry about that. Okay, and now the last thing that I want to do is I want to apply that drop shadow. So to do that, we take a rectangle tool in the middle of it, and I just draw it out to the circle. And I want it to be, well, it doesn't matter where it's at, so something like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. To match. Looks like I need to move it a little bit here, so we'll move it up to here. So it's right here on the corner. Okay, and we'll do the same over on this side, except I'm going to need to resize it to do it this way. Actually, I didn't want to completely do that. I wanted to put it almost on there. Okay. Oh, it looks like it messed up my other side, so let's go fix that. Okay, it's no longer a square, so let me fix that. Actually, I think it is. No, it's not. Let's see what's going on with it here. This one's got to be brought up like that. And then this one's got to be brought up as well. Come on. Still just a little bit more down here. And I think that'll work. And so now what I do is I select both of these layers, and we're going to use the shape builder tool, and I can remove the excess. Okay, and so now to create the drop shadow, what I want to do is give it a shading like this. And I only want to use this piece. And for this one, I'm going to change the linear gradient on it. So let's first get the angle of it correct. Like that. And we're going to go from, actually, I liked it the other way, -45, right? And I want it to go from this color, which is going to be a 154, 176, 197. And this is all the same for the other ones. So this little bluish gray. And we're going to go to a solid white. Now that doesn't look right, right? That drop shadow is not quite right. So what we want to do is I want to change here on the blending mode. trying to remember where that is. Just a second. Right here under transparency. And then I'm going to change this to be multiply. And that gives me the drop shadow effect. So that's one. Okay, we got two more of these to make. So the first thing I want to do is same thing. We're going to make another artboard. Put it at 600 by 600. And let's make our next one. So we're going to make an amber this time. What we want to do is I want to first create a square. Like this. And then what I want to do is let's go ahead and change the fill to just something easy on the eyes for now. Okay. And then I want to go to Object, Path, Add Anchor Points. Hold on. So my anchor point where's the anchor point? Let's try it again. Object, path, add anchor points. There we go. So it added it here. It appeared. So let's go ahead and resize this whole thing, because I'm going to extrude the sides out by using this tool, selecting that new anchor point and dragging it up. We'll go up like 100. And we'll do the same on the bottom. Okay. Okay, and now what we're going to do is the same little trick where we're going to draw some line segments on here to break it up. And then we can use that same trick that we used last time, where I can select it, duplicate it, do a copy of it at 45 degrees, and move that in. And then we can select the first one, rotate it again. We're going to go 135 degrees and give it a copy. And move this down. And now, just like before, I'm going to select the whole thing and go to Pathfinder, Divide. Now, same thing like last time. What's going on with my microphone? Testing. That's weird. Whatever that was. Sorry about that. So now, what I'm going to do is I needed to add this as a new layer. Like that. Okay, so now on this group, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make another palette. And I'm going to call this a amber. And we're going to add in our colors here. So our first one is 235, 148, and 18. Okay, our next one is 254, 182, and 63. My next one is 255, 206, and 66. Okay, my next one is 255, 127, 0. Almost done here. We have 253, 149 and 21. We have 255, 198 and 59. And then our last one is 255, 217, and 66. And then, just like before, we're going to go around this thing. Oh, these are harder to tell. They all look the same. Okay, that's our first one. That's our second one. That's our third one. That's our fourth one. This is our fifth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, I think I have too many colors here. 1, 3, 5, 1, 4, 8, 18. 2, 5, 4, 1, 8, 2, 6, 3. 2, 5, 5. Oh, I see. I forgot to divide this one more time. So where I did this one, we want to add in a line segment here that goes like that. And actually the easiest thing to do here would be, because the palette's already made, just go back to where I separated it. Copy this. Now we'll go all the way back. I guess not. Okay, we'll just add this one in here. And I want to rotate this. We're going to say it's going to be rotated 90 degrees, and we'll preview it and copy it. Okay, let's just do this again now, where we select everything, issue a divide. And now this time, instead of going through all of those, let me create the new layer. We'll just do it directly. So this is one, we don't need this one down here. So this is the first one here. And this one's going to be, come on, 253, 148, 18. Sorry about this. The second one is this one here. And we're going to set this one to be 254, 182, 63. The next one down is this one. And we're going to set this to be 255, 206, 66. The next one down is this one. This is our fourth color, so this is going to be 254, 183.64. Okay, our next one come on, where is it? It's this one. This one's going to be 255, 127, 0. Okay, our next one is this one here. And this is 253, 149, 21. We have two more. The next one is this one here, which is 255, 198, 59. And then our last one here is this one, which is 255, 217, 66. Okay. Now, similar to what we already did, I'm going to make another. Do I want to make a hexagon or do I want to make, yeah, we'll do the same way. So I'll make another square right here in the center. Something like that. And then we're going to do the same thing where we object, path, add anchor points. Drag this thing up. By about 80. And then the same one down here on the bottom by about 80. Okay. That's a little too much for those. So we'll take away 35 from that. That's almost not enough now. We'll add 20 back, and that should do it. Okay. And now, what I want to do is I want to apply a gradient. And same thing, we want to set the angle. So something like 135. 120 I think is better. And I can actually move that gradient so it's in the exact right place. I guess it's not going to let me rotate that one, which makes sense. So let's just rotate it a little bit more. And then that looks good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go from a bright yellow over here, which is going to be a 255, 232, 54. And we're going to go to 255, 178, 72. Okay, so now same thing as before. We're going to steal a couple of these sparks and dump them on here. So like one here. One here. And maybe like a little one up here. One thing I want to do is I want to shrink this thing up a little bit. So I'm taking away 15 370, so it's 180, 65, a little bit more like that. So that way it gives it a little bit more lift. Okay, and now I'm going to add this all as a group. And we're going to resize it. And move it up to the middle again. And now we need to add our background to it. So same as before, I'll use the circle shape. Start here in the middle. Put it right like that. We're going to add a gradient to it. And I want it to be at 90. And on our bright side, we're going to give it a blue color, 87, 241, and 255. And on the dark side, 66, 135, 155. Okay. We have one final thing to do, which is that we want to take a square. Same deal. Let's make it big this time. Whatever, that's fine. Okay, we're going to rotate it 45 degrees. And I'm going to move it up so it intersects at that corner. Like that. And then so it intersects at this corner. Now what I want to do is make it a square again. I think that's it. No, it's a little bit too wonky up here. That's it. Okay, and then we're going to select these two pieces and take my shape builder tool, get rid of the extra part, and now we need to add our drop shadow. So on this one, we wanted to put it at what, like 45? And then we wanted to go from that gray color. Let me look up what that was. 154. Oops. Come on. 154, 176, 197. And then we want it to go to a solid white. And now what I'll do is apply the multiply on it. This one still looks a little wonky. So as soon as I move that, now I need to take these two paths again and take my shape builder tool and erase this little bit down here. Now we're good. Okay. So we've only got one more of these to do, and then we can start to build our blocks with the backgrounds. So for the last one, I think we'll make an opal. So we'll make something like this. Sorry, I meant to grab an artboard. Okay, and so for this one, this is an amethyst. What we want to do is we want to start by making a three-sided shape here right in the center. And I want to make it about 150. And now what I want to do is make another one of these. And I'm going to get a little creative with it. I'm going to put this right over the top, grab this side here, and bring this right into the middle somewhere, like there. And I want to do the same thing over on this side. Don't you have a reflect tool? And then I think I can probably, we'll just make one more. Actually, I don't want to do from this one. I'll do from this one here. And I'll just put this at that anchor point. Okay. Before I go any further, I forgot to create a new layer for this. Like that. Okay. And now we're going to fill each little section with a different hue. And by making one side of it slightly lighter than the other side and a darker on the bottom, it's going to give it this semblance of looking like it's elevated. This perception of it. So we'll add a lilac here, which will be a 214, 130, 255. Change this one here to be 182, 103, 216. And then we'll set the bottom one here to be a 144, 72, 198. Why did that get a gradient? There we go. So now we can put it in 144, 72, 198. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, just one second. We're going to take this side triangle here, and we're going to apply a highlight effect onto it. So for this one, what I want to do is I want to drag these two lines here. just to make it a little smaller. Just a little bit. But it can go all the way to the middle. Who is that there? Voxelholic. How are you doing? Thank you so much for that follow. If you have any questions, please put them into the chat. And then we're going to move this one here as well, just a little bit in. And I'll change that color right now so that we can see it. And I want to duplicate this and then rotate it. Like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply a linear gradient and use screen on it. So to do this, we'll first add a gradient. And I want it to go from, well, let's get the angle here. So it's like going to be the other direction that much. So like 30 degrees. No, that's not enough. 60 degrees. That's not, well, it might be 60. It could also be, I think it's 60. Minus 60. Yeah, minus 60 it is. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to extend this. So it's a long gradient. Well, actually, this one I'll make a short gradient. We'll put it somewhere like this. And then I want to go from darker violet to black. Let me just confirm that. Yeah. So we're going to go from darker violet here, which is 197, sorry, 115, 56, and 181. And we can move this in a little bit. And the reason we're going to black is because we're going to assign the screen mode on it. Voxelholic says, looking forward to seeing the progress. Thanks, man. Make sure you check out a lot of the other published stuff that we've created here on stream. And we'll go to black. Now, I want this to be shorter. Like that. And then I want to move this like that. And now, for the magic part, we take this, we highlight it with screen. I'm not happy with the way that looks. So let's go and just do the other one here, and then we'll come back to that one. So on this one, let's do it again. We'll add the gradient. This time I want it to go from something like 120. And we want to go from the black at the bottom here. And at the top, I want to go from 197, 132, and 209. That looks right. And now, when I apply the screen on it, that looks right. So that gave us a nice little highlight on the right side. I'm not happy with the way the left side looks. So let me fix that. If I look at the gradient on this one, it's going from purple on the outside to black on the inside. If I was to move this whole bar up here, there, now I can see it a little bit better. So yeah, we want it to be kind of like up there. Okay. And if I was to look at this gradient, it's a little clunky down here. That looks a little better. So now what I want to do is we're going to do that last same little piece where we put one more triangle in the middle. And we'll make this one like 75 and a triangle. That's actually pretty close with the size. Because you see, I want it to connect these lines here. Okay. And now what I want to do is add a gradient. Again, what a shocker. And we want to put this one vertical. And I want it to go from a pale lilac, so 232, 181, and 255. And we're going to drop it down to 172, 77, 219. And I want to put this at minus 90, like that. Okay, so same thing as before. We're going to grab some of these stars, copy them in, add it over here, maybe like a little one there, and like another little one down here, and then a slightly bigger one, like maybe up here. Okay, now we're going to add our background to it. So we'll add the circle from the middle. When I hold Alt, it'll draw it from the middle, something like that. And we're going to add a gradient to it, which will be vertical. And I want it to go from 255, 233 and 87 to 255, 88, 46. Dump this behind the polygons here. This polygon I can get rid of. These ones I can group up. And the last thing we need to do is the drop shadow. So if you recall, we start in the middle. I'm going to drag it out pretty large this time. I want to rotate it 45 degrees. Nope, it's got to be a free rotation on this one. We'll move this up into position here. Now, let's first get the rotation right. I think it's just rotating it back and forth for me here. Okay, so let's actually move some points. So down there, let's drop this behind right here. Okay, and now because I moved this a little bit, I need to take a look and see why this isn't a square. Well, it's got a slight rotation on it. And I'll move this anchor point out here. And I'll move this anchor point out. Come on. There. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll select the circle and we'll take our shape building tool. We'll get rid of the piece we don't need. And now that same color, which is gradient on 45 degrees, or we'll do like 30 degrees, or we'll just do something where I custom do it. Almost it. Okay, and then we'll go from there all the way down to the bottom. Something like that. And then our gradient colors are going to go from 154, 176, 197 to black. And then just like before, change the gradient or change the method here to multiply. Oh, my bad. So the reason it's doing that is because the gradient was supposed to go to white because it's a multiply, not screen. And there you go. So those are our 6 basic pieces. We need to add in some regular forms for blocks. So let me add a new artboard here. And in this one, we're just going to draw one rectangle from the very center. We want to give it no fill and a little stroke. And we'll bend in all the sides pretty good. Not too big. I think that'll be fine. It might be just a little too big. So let's do it again. We'll go to something like this size. Okay? Change it for nothing and a stroke. Okay? And so now, what I want to do is add a gradient. We'll go from top to bottom. And I don't have this color yet, so we'll pick one off the palette here. This is going to be my light blue. I kind of want something like that one there. And on our darker side, we want to go to something in a little bit more blue. This first color looks a little green. And the second color is a little dark. So something like that. Let me add the appropriate stroke onto that. That's a little too hard. Maybe something like that. I still feel like that's too dark. So let's change this to be like a, come on, go away. Like maybe like one of those colors to a there we go. And I want to go to a lighter color with more blue. And we'll go to even something almost white. Like that. Now the gems, I think I just want to put the same. I'm tempted just to make these colors the colors that I've already defined here. Because except for, oh, what happened here? Because this needs to go into a new layer like that. Okay. So if I look at these colors, just add them in and see how I like it. Because I already went through and found these ones. Something like that, I think, is a good choice. Because then I can pretty much put these on any of them, and I'll have to just come up with a different color scheme for a few of them. And so this will change these drop paths, right? Because now they're going to be square, so we'll fix that later. So we got one there. We'll make another one here on another artboard. Okay, and this time I want to go from this color to crap, I grabbed the wrong side. No, I didn't. Okay, I want to go from to this darker color here. Like that. Okay, just a couple more. Copy this thing, bring it over here on a new artboard. Paste it in, drag it in. Doesn't matter if it's centered or not. And the colors go from this as the light one oh, what the heck? So we want to go on this one here from this pink to this red. Okay, only a few more. Add another artboard here. Let's just draw my next three, I mean, because you only have 3 more. And we'll just do these all at one time to make it faster. And this, I think, is enough for us to get started. Do I want to get rid of the stroke on these? Probably. I kind of like it without the stroke. I think it's better looking. Okay. So we got 3 more. So let's go ahead and copy this. We'll make 3 layers for this. Paste this one in here. Make another layer, paste this one in here, make another layer, paste this one in here. Now let me get my numbers here. I'm just going to do this all at one time and I'm going to write them down. So the bright side is this. The dark side is this. Okay, for the next one, the light side is this color. The dark side is this color. And for the last one, we want the light side to be this one, and the dark side to be this one. So now what I can do is I can select my layer. Now I can apply my gradient here as the light one and the dark one. Same thing again here with the light one. And the dark one. And then for the last one, go from this light one to this dark one here. And we'll probably need to change these colors a little bit because these two are too close. So in this case, let's just change this now. So we've got purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So this one is like orange, yellow, and so we need a yellow, yellow. So on the light side, we can go real light with it. And on the dark side, something like that. A little too yellowy on the top there. A little too light, I mean. And then on this one, we can change the bottom color, or the top color, to be more on the bright orange side, like that. Looks pretty good, right? So our drop shadows need some help. But I think we'll add those in a little bit as part of these graphics, because I think what we can do here is something like this. I'm going to take this diamond, for example. And we'll group that up. And I'm going to copy that down here. What? And I want to put this on the purple layer. And now what I can do is I can add in the drop shadow here. So the same way we did it before, I'm going to take this one here, take the middle of it, drag this out. I believe those colors are already right. and then I'm going to rotate it. But I can do that with the rotate tool, so that way it's even. I'm going to set up my intersections here. Like that. And then I'm going to take my rectangle and my background, and I'm going to take the shape builder and I'm going to get rid of the excess. And then finally, I'm going to apply the transparency for multiply. And it looks like that. And so what I'll do is I'll group these together. Like that. Okay. That looks pretty good. I think this is going to work pretty well, because I'll be able to use this on any of these since they're all the same. So I like that. I need to make the drop shadows for each one of them again. So let's finish up that. Up here, I'll take this ruby, group everything together, copy it, come up to the right layer, paste it in. We're going to resize it from the center. And now we'll add the drop shadow, which is relatively straightforward again. We add the rectangle. We rotate the rectangle. I shore up the sides of the rectangle. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get this right on point. Like that. And then we go up to the other side. Drag this one down. Just a millimeter down. Okay, and now we'll move this under, and then I'll take both of these two and my shape builder tool, get rid of it, select this again, and change this to be multiply. That's 2. Okay, our third one is this one up here. So I'm going to duplicate it. By selecting everything And unselecting the background and the drop shadow. I'm going to copy that down to the right layer, which is up here. Put it right in the center. Come on, I know it's around here somewhere. There it is. Okay. Resize it. That might be a little too big. Still might be a little bit too big. I like that size. Okay. One thing I forgot to do is over on these ones, we need to discard the, we need to turn off the stars on these. Oops. On these ones up here. And the reason for that is because we're going to animate them. And I'm going to export these as PNGs and then import them into the project. Okay. We need to add the drop shadow onto this one. Whatever, that's fine. Okay. And I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees. We want to give it a gradient. Which goes from $154, sorry, $154, $176, $197 to white. I want this to be at 45 degrees, like that. Bring this thing up here. So it's something like, it's interesting that these didn't all join so nicely. Wait, do I have two of these? We'll look at that in a second. Okay. And now what I'll do is I'll select these two layers in my shape building tool and get rid of this bit. And finally, set the type to multiply. Where is its green? I think it's multiply. What did I do over here? Yeah, multiply. There, that looks better. was confused by why it was only in the wrong direction. Okay, 3 more. And then we'll do our export, take a short break, and then we will import all of these things to our project. So our next one is this sapphire, which I'll select, copy it, and paste it onto the correct layer. Looking for center. There it is. Okay. We need to bring this to the appropriate layer and then give it a resize. And then the only other thing is the drop shadow. Which is here. We need to make this one much larger. Okay. I want to rotate it manually this time. Move it into position. Okay, and then up here, using this one, that's fine. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is shrink this side up. And then we're going to take these 2 layers and my shape building tool and erase that. And finally set that to multiply. But not both of them, just this one. Okay, 2 more. So one of the things that I'm realizing about these effects is that they're going to have to be separate because they look different on each one of the tiles. So I could either export just those and add those onto the individual game objects. I could create an individual tile for each one of the types and colors. That might be just what we do because that would be pretty easy to do that. Let me think about that a little bit while we finish this up. We want to take our next diamond, which is this amber, copy it and paste it onto the blue background. Okay. That one's almost already the right size. We'll do it like that. And now what I want to do is the drop shadow. Just starting in the middle. I drag it out. I'm going to rotate it by eye for this one. Bring it up. Get the intersection on this side right. Well, it doesn't matter until I get the rotation correct. Okay. And then on the other side, that was probably just enough. Almost, just a little too much actually. That's probably perfect. No, still off a little bit. Okay, we'll just need to adjust this thing just a little bit now. Okay, that looks good. We can drag this up a little bit less. And then now I can apply the shape builder. Get rid of this chunk. And then do my multiply here. Okay, we got one final one. Let's do this quickly and move on. I'm anxious to. So let's grab the multiple pieces of it. We'll group it together. We'll make a copy of it, paste it on this yellow canvas. Give it a resize. Okay. Save that. Do our drop shadow on it. Goes real fast now. Okay. This one we're going to rotate. It'll let me. Okay, we're going to get the sizing right. Drag it to the corner. Okay, we need to bring this side in significantly. Oh look, it's just about perfect. And then we move this one. Just a little bit more. Not like that. We only want to move one of these. Yeah, I don't want to move the vertical. Oh, that's why. There. Okay. We're going to apply the gradient to it. Okay, and then we're going to change the sizing of this. Like that. Drag it under. Select these two and our shape building tool, get rid of it, and then change this to multiply. Phew. Okay. So those are our basic game shapes. One thing I think I need to do is see, the colors of these are going to change, and I don't want to do any of the rendering. So I may just need to, and I can do this on or off stream, go through here and create individual ones for each of these. But we can start with this. So if I look at my artboards, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I'll do a file, export as, and we want to do a range from 7 to 12. And I'll put these on the desktop, called it assets. And we're going to call this gems. We want to do them high, with super sampling, and transparent. Okay, wait for that to finish. I think that's done. And now I'm going to do the same thing, except for, oops, I messed that up. You see, I forgot to turn these off. Okay. Return TM. Hey, could you tell me a bit about the new project? What kind of game will it be? Yeah, currently what it looks like it's going to be is a gem game. It's going to be similar to Tetris a little bit, but I'm going to bring in elements from PvP games. So it'll probably have 8-player, player versus player. The games will probably be about like 15 to 20 minutes, similar to TFT a little bit. So something like similar to that. I've kind of got it mostly mapped out in my head. So we need to re-export these now. And we want to do gems, and we want 7 to 12. That sounds awesome. Thank you, Return TM. It's great to have you back with us. Okay. And now we need to do the same thing, except we need to turn off the images. And we'll do it again with an export as, and we're going to call these blocks, and we want to do 7 through 12. And then we're going to make another artboard. And on this one, I'm going to take only one of these sparkles. It's interesting that one's separated. Let's not use that one. Let's use this one here. And I'm going to make a new layer for this. And I'm going to add this little guy, make him a lot bigger. Move him up here. Make him even bigger. Okay. So we need that. What else do I need here? Well, let's export this artboard. That's 13. Okay. And those are our basic graphics, I think, that we need to get this created. We'll need something for the board. I could make something for the board real quick. Yeah, let's go in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to open each one of these blocks up in Photoshop. Okay, and I'm going to do a do I want to trim it? Yeah, we want to do that. So we'll do an image trim on this. And then I'm going to update my canvas size here to be we're going to add 400. I'm just writing that down. Like that. Okay, that's one. And now we want to resize it. We'll do that in another pass. Okay. So we'll do a trim. We'll do a canvas size. Whoops. And this will be 2589. Isn't that what the other one was? (2189) and 2188 is that one. So this is going to be 2589 and 2589. And then I'm going to do this one here. And the reason I'm doing this is I need all the blocks to be the exact same size inside and centered. 2589, 2589. Another one, we'll trim it. 2589, 2589. We need to trim it. 2589, 2589. 12. We're halfway done. Luckily, I'm starting to move now. 2589, 2589. Okay, this one, we'll trim it. Like that. Same thing. Okay, next one is a trim, and then we want to do a canvas size of 2589, 2589. Just a few more. Two more. one more. Okay, that's done. Let's trim our star here. And now we want to have a new folder called resized. And we'll close all of these. And we'll just make a copy in here. And we'll just go through these one more time, and we'll just do a resize, and then I think we're done with our assets. So let's make these extra large icons so I can actually see them. Start here, give it a resize. Whoa, what was that? And I think this time what we're going to set it to is 72,500. Pixels are getting pretty damn fine looking. So 600? 600 it is. Okay, here's the second one. 72 by 600. Here's the next one. 72 by 600. Next one. Next one. That's 11. And then 12. $72 by 600. Right, next one is this one. I realize I could have just made a script for this, but I'm almost done now. Image size 72, 600. And the last one here, we'll just put this at 500. All right. So these are our basic assets that we can use to get started on the game. So let me close up some apps here. And let's jump into Unity.